When we picture Boromir and Denethor, thanks to Peter Jackson's iconic films, we often see a proud, corrupted warrior and a snarling mad king, chowing down on tomatoes while his city falls. But what if the books paint a more nuanced and tragic picture? Today we're diving into Tolkien's The Siege of Gondor to ask, did Jackson take his grim interpretation too far? We'll uncover the kindly manner of a fallen hero, meet a steward more scholar than tyrant, and see how the House of Hurin is less a family of villains and more a case study in the crushing weight of despair. Let's get into the text. And Pippin, gazing at him, saw how closely he resembled his brother Boromir, whom Pippin had liked from the first, admiring the great man's lordly but kindly manner.
Okay, so you never watched Game of Thrones. Okay, Sean Bean played Ned Stark, and Ned Stark was this very proud, and he was a really great character. You know, like the only honorable guy in the first season of Game of Thrones, right? Mm-hmm. But if he would have had that bearing in Lord of the Rings, right? But Sean Bean is really good in that series. Sean Bean, if Jackson would have chosen to make him a little bit more the character, like the way that Ned Stark carried himself when he was corrupted by the ring, or when he went after the ring, it would be a little bit more shocking.
Yeah.
And as a consequence, I think Denethor, if they would have had him a little bit, you don't have to make him nice, but a little bit more subtle.
Yeah.
I guess like showing Denethor as this, not heartless ruler, but very proud, kind of condescending, mean-spirited kind of leader, right? It like the way that it is depicted, and the same thing with Boromir we're talking earlier. It's not a far stretch to say oh, I bet you if you took 10 people, lined them up, and let them talk, and you saw the personality, you would pick out Boromir and Denethor to be corrupted by the ring, and it kind of I don't want to say diminishes the power of the ring, but it would be more interesting to see these guys that are lordly and kindly, and how when they're broken, like in this chapter,
yeah.
When he realizes that oh, I got to burn everything, So,
well, the other thing is, you realize that Faramir is actually very similar to Denethor, because both men are actually really into the ancient lore. So while, Denethor is very lore minded, he's spent a lot of time researching, he knows all about the Palantir. And probably more so than someone like Boromir. So he loves Boromir to death, and it's his favored son. But you could say temperamentally, Faramir and Denethor are more similar in the sense that they seem more bookish, more kind of, concerned with history and the lore of the city. Denethor calls Faramir like a wizard's pupil, disparagingly, but in a sense they have actually that in common. Not that they're wizard's pupils, but Denethor, I think, is interested in that same kind of stuff, like a Faustus type of figure.
Yeah. Or they're nerds.
They're both nerds, yes. They come to this point where Faramir is brought in, and he sees Pippin, and he says, "Oh, I met some hobbits out on the road," and it came to tell the story that they had the ring, and he sent them off to Mordor, much to the dismay of Denethor. And Denethor says, "For Boromir was loyal to me and no wizard's pupil. He would have remembered his father's need and would not have squandered what fortune gave. He would have brought me a mighty gift." Now,
does he know what the gift is, though? It's never been said that there was the ring.
Well, I think it was supposed to be Isildur's bane, right? I mean, they knew about it because, like, I think,
Yeah.
like, Denethor was aware of most of this because of his deep learning. But when he calls him a wizard's pupil, I was thinking, like, wait a minute, it struck me because I was like, does Faramir even know Gandalf? Like, there was nothing in what we've read so far that described like a deep, like, relationship between Gandalf and Faramir, but
No.
it's described in the appendix.
Exhibit A.
Describing Faramir, he was gentle in bearing and a lover of lore and music, and therefore by many in those days his courage was judged less than his brother's, but it was not so, except that he did not seek glory and danger without a purpose. He welcomed Gandalf at such times as he came to the city and learned what he could from his wisdom, and in this, and as in many other matters, he displeased his father. Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh.
So yeah. So this isn't just a sudden, like, argument. It's a long-standing grudge of Faramir against Gandalf, where Denethor suspects Faramir has, like, more allegiance and more love for Gandalf than himself.
Right.
So yeah, that wizard's pupil line really struck me there.
Did I read somewhere that Faramir favored his mother?
His mother. Imagine what that would do to Denethor.
It is noted in discussion of the lore that Faramir bore a close resemblance to his mother, which served as a constant reminder to Denethor of his loss. Finduilas died when Faramir was only 5 years old.
If your face reminds Denethor, because there's no ambiguity that Denethor loved Finduilas very much and was just devastated by her loss, and spent all his time kind of like hiding in the dungeons of Gondor, looking up deep lore, becoming a major nerd. But if your face, as Faramir, like, reminded him of this loss, I'm sure there's always kind of this sense of pain and loss when you see this kid Faramir, and you're like, "Damn kid, get out of my, go away!"
Yeah.
Constant reminder of how miserable I am.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, I think, like I said, like Jackson did a fair job with Denethor. The back and forth between Gandalf and Denethor is really, really interesting. It's like a chess game.
Yeah. I mean, it starts out where before Denethor and Gandalf have that, like, conflict over why not, just take the ring, which is an echo of a conversation that was had at the Council of Elrond. But Faramir here reminds Denethor that it was he who sent Boromir to Elrond, and so it was basically like Denethor's fault that Boromir died, because like, Denethor sent Boromir on this mission that he didn't survive. And it was the Lord of the city that gave the errand to him. Stir not the bitterness in the cup that I mixed for myself, said Denethor. It's like, what?
I like it. It's like, you don't have to keep reminding me about that, dick.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, it's just very deep. Like, basically Faramir's like, would you rather I died than my brother? And then he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, it's your fault that he died instead of me, because I would have taken that quest if it weren't for you.
Denethor conveniently forgets, like, I wish that you went into this place. Like, come on, dude, you could have gotten this place. But right here, like at the bottom, nonetheless, like when Gandalf was like, nonetheless, I do not trust you. That's kind of like...
And also, it's like, it's funny, this moment where Gandalf's like, hey, I know that Boromir, it sounds nice for you to want Boromir to have taken this ring, but trust me, it would have destroyed him and he wouldn't have given it to you. And Denethor's like, hey, bro, I know my own son. Of course he would have
I know my kid. Yeah.
Of course he would have given it to me. But, like, the very fact that he's saying this actually it undermines his own argument because he's like greedily wanting the ring for himself right here.
Yeah.
It's great. And then he's like, no, we'll put it into some dungeon in under Gondor. And of course I'll forget about it deep down there. And Gandalf's like, no, it'll be like wearing on your mind this whole time, having this thing that you think will save you in your possession.
Like, I tell you what, Gandalf, we're going to put it down in the deepest part of the dungeon, and there's only going to be one key, and I'll hold it so no one else gets to
it. No, we'll put it in a dungeon, and I'll take the key, and I'll hide that behind another door with another key. And
no one will be able to get to it but me. I mean,
it's like a gambler who
I won't know where the key is.
It's like a gambling addict who, and I've heard stories like this. They take their credit card so they can't access more money from the ATM. They put their, well, my dad did this. He took his credit card and put it in a cup of water and put the water in the freezer. So surrounded his credit card was literally packed in ice. Wow. So if he ever had the itch to go like extract more money and gamble, he would have to wait for, like, of course he could smash the thing open, but like just that barrier of ice was supposed to like thwart his will to take the ring of power and extract more power from the ATM machine.
Yeah, except honestly, like microwaves exist. So.
Microwave or just a hammer.
Yeah. I was like watching this interview with John Mulaney or some kind of stand-up or whatever, like really addicted to cocaine. So he said that he called up his accountant and said, no matter what, don't give me any money, you know, like, or whatever. Like, I can't remember what he was, but then he would like call up and like try to steal his own money from himself, like from his accountant, like making up stuff of why he needed money to go buy like something or whatever. And
right.
That kind of reminds me of this whole situation, you know?